Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hey there.
We're going to look at a trailer from Netflix India called Hasmukh. This is starring Veerendra and Ranveer Shorey. It comes out April 17th, which is fairly soon as of this recording, and it is directed by Nikhil Gonsalves. It's written by Nikhil Gonsalves, Veerendra, Niraj Pandey.
Nikhil Advani, it says. Oh, it does. Oh, sorry.
Well, look at that. It's also written by Nikhil Advani and Niraj Pandey, Amog Ranadive, and Suparn Verma. Got a whole team of people here. This is interesting because it looks like a very, very serious show. The IMDb description says, a timid small-town comedian's long-awaited big break takes a dark turn when he realizes committing murder is the only way to keep his onstage mojo.
Okay.
Oh, so maybe it's not serious. Maybe it's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
भैया मम्मी रेडी
तो किस लिए रेडी हो गया वो सड़ गए
आप बोले थे हमको स्टेज पे चढ़ाएंगे
होली सम्मेलन याद है अपने स्टेज पे कुछ नहीं कर पाए थे
प्रॉमिस प्रॉमिस होता है
ये तो गुलाटी नहीं है क्या कर रहे हो अबे कौन है
और थोड़ा मुस्कुराइए ना अरे क्या हुआ कोई मर गया क्या गलती से हो गया जी भैया
अब तो आए जिमी द मेकर के पास
अरे उस दिन हम स्टेज पे जब हसमुख को देखे ना तो हमने कॉमेडी का काम देव को देखा
पर आज कोई फील ही नहीं
हर कलाकार का कोई ना कोई बाइकरा होता है हसमुख का बाइकरा ये है समझा
So dark.
कॉमेडी बादशाहों के बारे में सुना है?
अरे ये बम्बई नगर ही है भैया
देखिए हम लोग तो 25 में 7 15 फाइनल ठीक है
Done. 15 lakhs for representation.
शहर में तो साला हरामी लोग भर भर के पड़ा हुआ है
हमने कह दिया तो समझो लौंडा किडनैप हो गया तुम्हारा
The viral sensation Hasmukh ये देखो क्या पहना है ये हम आदमी है अलादीन का चेहरा आप हमको रगड़ाएंगे तो हमारी ख्वाहिश पूरी होगी आपकी
किलर हो तुम
जी मार ही डालोगे किसी को
सर आप तो तारीफ भी करते थे एकदम खूंखार पेटी किलर ने किया अपने तीसरे शिकार का शिकार
12वें माले से नीचे
चोट तो नहीं लगे ना उनको अरे नहीं चाहिए हमको ये सपने हमारे पास कुछ चल के आता है
सबके लबों पर सबकी जुबान पर बस एक ही नाम
और थोड़ा मुस्कुराइए ना अरे क्या हुआ कोई मर गया क्या
Well,
That's super cool.
that's definitely a novel concept. So, very, very interesting. It's almost like vampirism, right? To survive, he has to kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just go with me on this.
Yes. I'll go with you. Yeah, you're talking to the wrong person about vampirism because we could fall down a rabbit hole about vampires and I could talk for hours.
I don't know. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is there have been other versions of this, but not this specifically, where it's a comedian who, in order to pull off great comedy, he has to murder people.
Yeah, no, that is definitely really novel, as you say, because it was kind of giving me Dexter vibes in the sense that he only wanted to kill bad people.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, but then Dexter's not a comedian. So.
No, but he gets fulfilled. He gets some sort of gratification, right? I mean.
Yeah, but I guess it's a little bit different in that if he hadn't been given a code, he would have just killed willy-nilly. But because his father gave him a code, then he's stuck by it. Whereas this, it's similar, but it's different as well.
The guy playing his partner or manager was also in the other Netflix series with Saif Ali Khan, the one with
Sacred Games?
Sacred Games, yeah. I feel like he was the villain in that, and he was really, really good in that show. Every time I see him, he always does whatever he's doing very authentically, as far as I can tell. Obviously, not speaking Hindi, there's a limitation in how much I can judge and ascertain about his performance, but from where I'm standing, he's doing a great job, and it's very different from what I just saw him in, which is Sacred Games. Because in that, it was much darker, a darker tone all around. This is it's dark, but it's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
And he's playing this sort of goofy, affable guy who's just trying to, like, You know?
He's just trying to have a client that's
Yeah.
successful and like he's willing to do whatever it takes. And I think Veerdas and Ranveer Shorey, I think they have really great chemistry together.
Yes. He's also an Ek the Tiger.
Egg the tiger.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really funny. Like just the two of them together, it's like a good pairing. And it's so cool to see Veerdas kind of have this different persona because you don't normally see him as this kind of really timid type character.
Okay.
And I don't remember in Go Go A Gone his character kind of being that, you know, sort of soft-spoken, timid guy. And so you get that kind of serious acting side of Veerdas and then the stand-up comedy side. Because watching him do the stand-up in this, I was like, it's just like watching one of his stand-up specials, you know? So you get a
Right.
little bit of both.
Well, there's something just strange and enticing. It's captivating, but also concerning about dirty success, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God, because you're sort of hoping for him, but you're also like mixed feelings, like because your conscience is sort of dirty at the same time. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, but he's killing people, but he's killing bad people though, so it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the Punisher, except he's a comedian. At a certain point, you see that he's not sure that he can do it anymore. The fascinating thing is, he is the most unlikely candidate to be a murderer, rather. And so the cops, I'm sure in the initial part of the show are gonna be like, it can't possibly be him. That's laughable.
Yeah.
There's no way it's him. They start zeroing in on him and he starts to feel that kind of claustrophobia, that choking feeling as
the
pressure as the cops are getting closer. But it's definitely got me curious to see what's going to ultimately happen in the show. You can see immediately the adventure and the kind of general trajectory of the show, but you have no idea how it's going to conclude. And so they've done a great job of getting me hooked, wanting to see how the finale plays out. And along the way, you'll get jokes, of course.
And we can all do with a little bit of comedy and then a little bit of darkness
Yeah.
at this time. It seems like it'll be pretty fun to watch. And you've got 10 episodes as well, so.
I wonder if at all this was meant to be released at a later date. And Netflix realized they needed this to come out sooner because everyone's in lockdown. I mean, we got pushed into a longer lockdown. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard that because the news about America seems to be spreading everywhere just because we have more cases than anybody else right now with regards to the thing. We are in lockdown until the end of April, and if India is going to follow suit, I mean, it's possible. This show is releasing at a perfect time because everyone just needs more content. Even me, like I'm going on YouTube in between when I'm eating or whatever, and I'm like, I just need something to watch for the time being. You know, I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to watch it, and I think it's great that Veerdas is finding a way to still do his thing because it's still comedy.
Yeah.
But coming at it in a different angle, you know, still playing some kind of a character.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, because he's playing someone who's a little bit more timid. You have no idea what his character will ultimately become in this show if he's going to stay that timid, sort of innocent person. But you see that look on his face when it comes to murdering people, taking people out. Like I think that he becomes a darker person over the course of the show to the point where he sort of loses himself and he's not even sure who he is anymore.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? That when you commit murder, somehow it unleashes a part of yourself that has been closed off for a while. And it's like, I guess the question is, how would he be able to find that part of him without having to commit the murder? Because he's clearly a character that's super skilled. But like, I just think this concept is so wild. Like, how did the writers even come up with this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what's funny is this is also analogous to what big artists feel anyway, which is at some point I'm going to be found out.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
like everyone's going to know I'm a fraud.
Yeah, that's always a feeling that every artist who is having any kind of success feels at some point. This is ubiquitous. Like, this is just very well known that every big artist at some point has this sort of crisis where they go, oh my God, are they going to find out today that I'm a fraud? You know?
Is it like imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. This happens to like a lot of people. And so here you have this show that really shows you the imposter syndrome in full action because he's afraid that he's going to be found out.
Yeah, and everything, like people making jokes about death or murder or whatever. It's like, you know, like if someone came up to him and was like, man, you killed it on stage. He'd be like,
yeah.
You said what?
Yeah, he's like sensitive to all these trigger words.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious. That part with Ranveer Shorey where he goes, oh, you know, you were confusing with your words. I thought that was great.
Yeah, he's so cool. I like them both.
One of the things that I spoke about in Veerdas' stand-up comedy that we did a reaction to was that it felt like it was I mean, it was for India, basically.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was sort of left out, so to speak, because I couldn't get all the jokes, all the humor. And it was a little bit frustrating as far as, you know, the Western experience goes. And I was hoping that when I watched that show, it was going to be accessible for someone like me who doesn't necessarily get all the Indian references, who's culturally gated.
Right.
And my hope with this show is that I don't have that same experience, is that this has more of a broad appeal. I think Netflix is very well aware that a number of their shows from one country might be seen by a different country. Like, we get the show 3% over here, which is not from America. It's not for America, it's for Brazil. And yet people over here are watching it as well. And I'm pretty sure Sacred Games showed up as a show recommended for Americans, even on IGN.com. It was a show that went well beyond Indian borders. And I'm hoping that this has the same effect, where it's something that people outside of India can enjoy just as much or close to as much as the people in India. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Check out ACHARA KIRK on the Instagrams as well as the Jabs if you feel like doing that. We're also on Twitter if you want to look at things we say there. So tweet. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Thanks so much for hanging out. Stay safe. I am Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.